With the retail distribution review to increase competition between advisory firms, branding can play a huge part in differentiating your business to prospective clients. But should firms completely rebrand or just develop their brand further? Here with us now is Tim Whiting from Timothy James & Partners, who has completely relaunched his business brand. But before Tim takes us on his rebranding journey, here are a few other advisors on the role of branding within their businesses.
The branding of our business is extremely important. It helps us to tell people where we've come from, so our origins. It helps to reflect our values as well as our image.
The branding of the business is important to us because it's the identity of the business. It's the personality of the business. It's what the business stands for, and what the business means to us and to our clients. It's my view on branding is it is the personality, and it's the way that you look, the client's perception of you, your staff's perception, and over time, as your business grows and develops, your personality changes, and with that, your brand also has to change, and that's what's happened to us over the last few years.
Yeah. Over the years, since we started 8 years ago, our branding has developed. We were originally called Sundridge Consulting. And around about 3 years ago, we changed our brand to Ma's Wealth. The main reasons behind this shift was Ma's Wealth expressed more of what we did today than we did 8 years ago with Sundridge Consulting.
The biggest hurdle when developing a brand is largely deciding what you want to say. So particularly for us with 6 partners, it was very difficult to initially all agree on what our message was and how we wanted to come across to the outside world.
One of the biggest hurdles when you're rebranding is you shouldn't be under any illusions. By creating a brand does not necessarily mean revenues will be generated. It doesn't guarantee one additional pound in revenue, although you may have spent tens of thousands of pounds in rebranding. So that's just the beginning of the journey.
Sit down, work out what you want to say and what your brand is. Secondly, write them down, put together some branding guidelines, and then thirdly, stick to them. So make sure that message is consistent across your literature, your website, your social media.
Talk to your staff, talk to your clients, find out how they perceive you, find out what they understand to be your brand. But talk to other people, talk to a third party.
Get involved in the community, so charity work, get involved in schools, educating. This all helps to promote your brand. So that's one of the things that I would do. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to do, the radio, the TV. They're hungry for people who have a view, have an opinion.
In the clip, we heard from Ross Butter of Web Financial Services and Georgina Partridge of Plutus Wealth, describing their brand as reflecting their values and personality. What do you think your branding reflects, and how important is branding to your business?
So I think when you look at brand, you have to establish what makes your business different to all the other banks and places that you could go to get financial advice. So we started 17 years ago. And the key differences for Timothy James & Partners is that we employed consultants that don't have bonuses or commission. It's a flat salary, so there was no financial incentive to do one thing or the other with the client. The second thing was that we were really after self-employed people, entrepreneurs that run their own businesses.
How did you decide to take on rebranding? Did you decide to bring someone in to reevaluate it, or did you just decide to do it yourself?
We spent probably around £250,000 during this year as one of our major strategic movements towards RDR. We employed someone from an advertising company who is used to understanding our brand, they have a financial services background. I think they looked after American Express. He did the Allied Dunbar advert 20 years ago. So he's very experienced, and of course I had no idea whether you spend £100,000 doing these things or whether you spend 250,000. So I think the first thing to do is get somebody who's very experienced. He then interviews our consultants and then interviews our staff and finds out what they think are the key differences in our business. What are the messages? What makes Timothy James and Partners different? And make sure that everybody's on board this boat called We're Off to Brand and that everybody's talking about the same message.
Where are you hoping that this rebranding will take your firm, and what advice would you give to other advisors who are looking to spice up their image?
If we're in financial services, I don't think there are many smaller financial services companies that are great at running a business with monthly cash flows, monthly management accounts, a breakdown of what types of income perhaps, who their clients are, what makes them different, what would they be marketing, how they grow their business, what their 5-year strategy is both financially and in the projects. So for us, our projects were we needed 9 more support people and 1 more consultant. We launched a property business. We have spent a year trying to find the right investment proposition, which is ultimately about staying independent and choice. Branding, bringing in somebody from an advertising company who's going to protect us from someone charging us £300,000 rather than £250,000, and what would be the most appropriate tools to reach the audience that we were trying to reach.
Great, thank you for sharing your experience with us, Tim. You can download the crib sheet for this week's edition with further information on branding at citywire.co.uk/advisor know-how or bnymelonam.co.uk/advisor know-how. Or you can find the link and add your views at Advisor Know-how on Twitter. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.